6 days after he was named USC's permanent head coach in late 2015 and 1 day after a loss to Stanford in the Pac-12 championship game, Clay Helton commenced a house cleaning. Helton dismissed 4 of the Trojans' assistant coaches, the first significant personnel decision of his young tenure. Among them was defensive coordinator Justin Wilcox. "We didn't do a good enough job on defense, which falls on me," Wilcox said this week. "I totally understand. That's our profession. And those things happen. It's not always the most fun, but that's the way it is." In 2015, USC fell to 65th in the nation in total defense. Helton, when asked to revisit his decision, pointed to philosophical differences. He quickly hired Clancy Pendergast to replace Wilcox as defensive coordinator. "I knew I could only be the head coach at USC one time, and I knew what I wanted," Helton said. Almost 2 years have passed since Wilcox's dismissal. The former USC assistant has since done an about-face. Wilcox arrived at Wisconsin in 2016, and the Badgers finished 7th nationally in total defense. The turnaround act has continued at Cal. Wilcox, hired as the Golden Bears head coach, has overseen a 3-0 start, bolstered by non-conference victories over North Carolina and Ole Miss. As Helton brings his 5th-ranked Trojans to Berkeley, Wilcox's upstart program offers an unexpected test on the schedule. The Golden Bears had been picked to finish last in the Pac-12 North Division in the preseason media poll. On Saturday afternoon, USC and Cal will meet as undefeated teams for the first time since 2004. When USC has the ball, good things have happened for USC with Sam Darnold behind center. The Trojans have now won 12 consecutive games, a span that dates to last season, when Darnold took over as the starting quarterback. Their recent string of victories have been particularly dramatic, including last Saturday's double overtime win over Texas, with Darnold orchestrating a game-tying scoring drive with less than a minute left in the fourth quarter. "From the quarterback spot, it's about producing victories," Helton said. USC's current winning streak is its longest in almost a decade. But until the final stretch against the Longhorns, the Trojans' offense struggled for most of the evening. It converted only a third of its third-down conversations and twice failed to score in the red zone. It was held to 71 rushing yards, its lowest since last season's 52-6 opening loss to Alabama. Even Darnold completed a career-low 57% of his passes, plagued by 5 dropped passes by his receivers in the first half, and he threw a pair of interceptions. Often, the offense appeared out of sync. Asked if it was one of his toughest games as a play caller against Texas, offensive coordinator T. Martin said, "No, Alabama was really hard. Cal might offer a formidable test, led by Wilcox and defensive coordinator Tim Derriter." In its victories over North Carolina and Ole Miss this month, the Golden Bears allowed only 1 second-half touchdown and shut out the Rebels in the second half. Linebacker Devontae Downs, tied for the most tackles in the Pac-12, has led Cal's defensive improvement. It has allowed 476 yards per game, 116th in the nation in total defense, but been adept at forcing turnovers. When Cal has the ball, the Golden Bears might have one advantage. USC's defense, after 3 games, is already banged up. As many as 5 of the Trojan starters on defense were sidelined for parts or all of their victory over Texas last Saturday. Most returned to practice this week, outside of linebacker Porter Gustin, but they were often limited. The injury list included defensive end Rasheen Green, hobbled with a high ankle sprain, and outside linebacker Uchenna Nwosu, who has a knee sprain. "If it was a year ago, I'd be really worried right now," Helton said. Rather, Helton said he was at ease, citing his team's depth. As injuries mounted against Texas, the unit still held the Longhorns, who had entered averaging almost 49 points per game, without an offensive touchdown until the final minute of regulation. Cal has averaged 32 points and 433 yards per game this season under new offensive coordinator Beau Baldwin, the former Eastern Washington coach. Under Baldwin, the Golden Bears have been more balanced too, passing the ball on 51% of their snaps. It was 60% last season under former coach Sonny Dykes, who had installed his Bear Raid offense. Ross Bowers, a redshirt sophomore passer who has thrown for 799 yards, 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, replaced Davis Webb as the starting quarterback. Helton said Bowers has some great accuracy down the field vertically. Patrick Laird, a former walk-on, has led a more capable running attack, averaging 7.5 yards per carry. Only 3 Pac-12 running backs have averaged more this season.